Hello dear students, I welcome back to you in the next chapter, which is a truly beautiful mind. This chapter is a part of Albert Einstein's biography. Of course, the world most famous scientist, that scientist which in fact revolutionized science itself. In fact, today if we are living such modern life with such inventions, the credit must be given to him. The man who in fact brought a new concept in respect of science. So the chapter is based on biographical part of his life. So this chapter is based upon the theme that how sometimes it happens that there are some genius. Great intellectual people, they are not very much extraordinary in their childhood. So sometimes there are people who always try to underestimate them, do not value them. So the chapter tells it's not certain that every genius person is genius in his childhood as well. There are many great people who in fact had a very ordinary childhood, but later they turned out to be superstars of the world. So the very same story has been shown about the childhood of Einstein, and of course it in fact shows one more aspect about the characteristic of Einstein, that despite being the greatest scientist the world produced so far, he was a true humanitarian also. In fact, he worked for the world and for its betterment. So it in fact shows another light on the character of Einstein, that how he worked, for the betterment of the world. His invention, of course, through his invention, he tried to foster the world. He tried to give something useful to the world, and of course, he was always much concerned about it. So this is what this chapter is based upon, and now we would study the detailed explanation of this chapter. So dear students, now let us start the thorough explanation of this chapter, which is a truly beautiful mind, and of course it's about a truly genius person. So first of all, let's study the introduction of this chapter. What do you think of when you hear the word genius? Like when we pronounce the word genius, there comes a name in our mind. Oh, he is genius. So, who is a genius? What quality do you think of a genius has? So, the same question goes to you. What, according to you, a genius person has? What are the qualities which are found in genius person? So, of course, he is very intellectual. He is very witty. He is very smart, clever, cunning. He has good strategies, tactics. There are so many, numerous qualities which are found in genius. And of course, Einstein was, I would say, was a person where in fact all these qualities could be found. So let's see further. We shall now read about a young German civil servant who took the world by storm about 100 years ago. In the summer of 1905, the 26-year-old published in quick succession. Quick succession means one after one, 4 ground-breaking papers. So he in fact wrote 4 record-breaking articles, and with those articles were about light, second the motion of particles, third the electrodynamics of moving bodies and energy. So these were the 4 articles which were of course published, and of course they were written by Einstein, and they moved the entire science. They in fact brought a new perspective, a new understanding in the realm of science. So that is why they have been called groundbreaking articles, because they in fact changed the perspective from where the science was looked at. Alright, a new vision was developed from there to understand the science. Not the science, understand science. His work took up only a few pages in scientific journal. Journal Me magazine, there was a scientific magazine. So his articles were published only in few pages, but changed forever Our understanding of space, time, and entire cosmos means universe, and transformed the name Einstein into a synonym for genius, and then Einstein became a similar name for genius. That means when it comes about genius, we always think about Einstein. So he became a synonym for genius. 50 years after his death, so he died before 50 years, Albert Einstein's genius still reigns, that still rules. And of course, the principle, the theories, the fundamental concept of science which were developed by him, they are still ruling, the foundation of most of scientific advancement in technology. So let's move forward. Now let's start the explanation of this chapter. So Albert Einstein was born on 14 March 1879 in the German city of Ulm. So here he was born without any indication that he was destined for greatness. So student, what happened? There are some children, they start showing their greatness right from the beginning. So in fact they show greatness, smartness when they are very young. There is a proverb in the same respect that a great event casts its shadow before. It means if something great is about to take place, any prediction or indication takes place in advance. But nothing was as such with Einstein. His childhood was very ordinary and he did not present any signs of becoming such great scientist. And in fact, if I say the greatest scientist, even that won't be wrong. So his childhood was very ordinary, very normal. In place of taking him as a brilliant child, he was taken as a foolish child, including his own mother. And of course, there was some teacher who always took him insane, somewhat screwed out. Screwed out, we say in our language, we say, yeah, uski chavanni kam hai, thanni kam hai. So that food is called screwed out, not to have great intelligence. So that was thought about Einstein. So see, on the contrary, means on the opposite, his mother thought Albert was a freak. What is freak? A word used disapprovingly, not accepting, to talk about a person who is unusual, strange, and does not behave, look, or think like others. Abnormal, strange. So he was taken as strange by others. Why? In fact, even this was for his mother as well. Was a freak to her. His head seemed much too large, and it looked to mother that the head of Einstein was somewhat extra large. At the age of 2.5, Einstein still wasn't talking. Generally, children start talking, when they are 2.5 years. There are some children who start talking slightly later also, but Einstein had not started talking even by that time. When he finally did learn to speak, eventually when he learned how to speak, he spoke everything twice. He spoke everything twice, like, give me one glass of water, give me one glass of water, go there, go there. So there was an echo, natural echo in his voice. He repeated every sentence twice. Einstein did not know what to do with her other children, and his playmates called him Brother Boring. So this was his nickname. He was called Brother Boring, by others. Why? Because Einstein was somewhat a boy of reserved nature. He was not involving. He in fact did not foster his friendship with others easily. So this was the reason the friends called him Brother Boring, because of his reserved nature. So the youngsters played by himself. So Einstein loved to play by himself because he did not have any friend. Let's see what is written in this box. Something interesting is there. Otto Neugebauer Bohr, Neugebauer Bohr, the historian of ancient mathematics, told a story about the boy Einstein that he characterizes as a legend. So he has traits, qualities to be called legend. Legend, a great person is called legend, but that seems fairly authentic, and a great story is also called legend. But that seems fairly authentic. But this legend term seems to be very apt, appropriate, correct for Einstein. How? As he was a late talker, so we studied that he started talking late. His parents were worried, and when he could not talk, So his parents were, of course, obviously they were worried. At last, at the supper table, dinner table, one night, he broke his silence to say, and she spoke something, at that time. What he said? He said, the soup is too hot. Greatly, this was his first spoken statement. The soup is too hot. Greatly relieved, his parent asked why he had never said a word before. They asked why it was there, that he had spoken, this statement the very first time. So Albert replied, see his answer, because up to now everything was in order. Alright, he said that he did not speak anything in advance because he found everything correct. No muddling was there, no jumbling was there, and this was the reason he never thought to have any reason for speaking. So he spoke because he found something incorrect. He found soup hot, which prompted him to speak. Otherwise, by the time he found everything appropriate, suitable, he never spoke anything. So what a funny story is there about him. Let's see further. So much of the time he played, he studied alone. He especially loved mechanical toys. So like mechanical toys, those toys, which in fact have some kind of technology. Looking at his newborn sister Maza. So when Einstein saw his newborn sister, and what was her name, Maza, he is said to have said, what is that? He said, fine, but where are her wheels? He said, it's all right, sister is there, but where are her wheels? So he was looking for wheels of a sister. Why? He was too young and he was badly involved in technology. He could be called a geek, G-E-E-K. Who is called geek? A person who is too much involved in technology, who loves, to toy with technology, is called geek. So he was a geek when he found his newly born sister. He in fact was looking for her wheels, and that's what he asked. He asked to others where her wheels was. Quite funny thing is there. A headmaster once told his father that what Einstein chose as a profession wouldn't matter because he'll never make a success at anything. I would say that teacher was himself a screwed out, an insane, lunatic, psychopath, mad, abnormal. They all mean mad. Goof is also called mad. So he was himself goof person. The teacher was goof because he made such poor derogatory remarks. Derogatory remarks means poor comment about Einstein. I would say it's never right to speak such derogatory statement for a student, because of course if the way 5 fingers are not same, likewise 5 students are not same. And for me, failure in education does not mean failure in life. There are some students, there are some children, they always are born for some special target, special aim. Again, I would say if Sachin Tendulkar father had compelled him, forced him, to go for his education, would in fact he have been able to become such a renowned, famous player of the world? Of course not. So of course, but it does not mean that we must not study. That is of course a part of our, growth. We must have basic knowledge of everything. Alright, so the teacher in fact was very insensitive. He passed very derogatory, harsh remark about Einstein, saying no matter whatever profession he chose, because ultimately he would not be able to successful in that. So that was statement passed by his teacher. Alright, Einstein began. He will never make a success at anything. Einstein began learning to play the violin at the age of 6. Alright, so he started playing violin also when he was too young. He was only 6-year-old. Began learning to play the violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him to, because his mother wanted him to learn violin. So he started doing the same. He later became a gifted amateur violinist. So it's called amateur, doing something for personal enjoyment rather than a profession. So anything which is non-commercial, what is called commercial work, student, any work which is done for earning money, that's what is called commercial. But when something is done for social upliftment or entertainment, that's what is called amateur. So he was not playing violin for earning money, it was his passion. Alright, it's craze to do, so that is why I started playing violin. Maintaining this skill throughout his life, and he kept on playing very good violin till his death. But Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil. Pupil means student. If teacher spoke such derogatory remark about him, it does not mean that he was a poor at his studies. No, he was not. He went to high school in Munich, where Einstein's family had moved when he was 15 months old. So Einstein family had already settled there. Einstein was at that time only 15 months old and scored good marks in almost every subject. And he was good almost at every subject. Einstein hated the school regimentation. But what was the reason? Despite being a good student, he was not able to acclimatize himself, adjust himself in that school, because school had regimental practices. Regimental means army kind of practices, it's strict, very harsh, discipline. So this was the reason he never felt comfortable in that school, and often clashed with his teachers. So he always, quite oftenly, had disputes, arguments with his teachers. At the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled. When he was 15, he found so suffocating there that he left the school for good. Ultimately, he decided to chuck the school, to leave the school. Fine, the previous year, Albert's parents had moved to Milan. So they had gone to Milan. I believe Milan is Italian city. Not much sure about it. You can see the world map and text me as well if you get to know. And left their son with relatives. So Einstein was not taken by them. He was left, with his relatives. After prolonged discussion, after detailed discussion, Einstein got his wish to continue his education in German-speaking Switzerland. So eventually, he was allowed to go to this college. It was German-speaking Switzerland. You must not forget, student, what was the native language of Einstein? German, because he was from Germany. So eventually, he got admission in a school of Switzerland, where in fact German was mode of teaching. In that university, German was mode of teaching. So this was the reason Einstein found that university was best place for him to take admission. In a city which was more liberal than Munich, and this city was more liberal, so more freedom was there, or enjoyment was there. So this was the reason Einstein thought to shift himself to that city. The previous year, Albert's parents had moved. We had done. Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics. He was born genius in mathematics and interested in physics. And after finishing his school, once he completed his 12th, he decided to study at a university in Zurich. He decided now he would study in Zurich. It's a city of Switzerland. But science wasn't the only thing that appealed to the dashing young man with the wall-less mustache. So it was not so that, entirely he was interested in science. He was interested in something else as well. The man having wall-less mustache. So you can see wall-less mustache, the type of wall-less mustache in these, given images. The mustache is called, this kind of mustache is called wall-less mustache. The student, one question goes to you, can you let me know what is Charlie Chaplin mustache called? Or the same kind of mustache is there with Jethalal? So what is the type of mustache called? The kind of mustache they have. And your time has already started. Yes. Any answer? No answer. How can you give answer? This is a recording. No problem. So let me tell you, that type of mustache is called toothbrush mustache. The mustache of Charlie Chaplin or Jethalal. That's what is called toothbrush mustache. Alright. And here one more design is there of mustache, wall-less mustache. Fine, young man, to the wall-less mustache. So I believe that we must keep this much, because a very new part is gonna be. So here I am compelled to say, thank you so much for watching this video. You are great, and so am